Hey everyone, welcome to the Thomas Blooms channel. My name is Thomas Blooms, and this segment we're going to be talking about planters. What are some of the different types? Why do you use them? Pros and cons of each. Okay, so just give me 1 second here. Goalies go. Game 6 is tonight. Okay, so you have outdoor planters, okay, and there are advantages and disadvantages to having the planter in general. The biggest advantage is that whatever you put in there, it's mobile. Assuming you don't have like a huge planter that's going to weigh like 100 pounds, you can move it. So when you get bad weather, like we've had the last 2 nights where it went down to 2 degrees, you can bring them inside to protect them from the cold air. Or if your plant is not getting enough sun where it's at, you can move it to a sunnier place. Being mobile is fantastic, and you can put a lot of fruits and vegetables inside your outdoor planters, and they can flourish. They can do really well. Okay, so we're going to deal with a few of them right now. We're going to talk about first the outdoor planter box. Okay, so this is just one example of it, and as you can see, it's a decent shape. Some of them are huge. Some of them are tall and narrow. Some of them are wide and fat, and others are just, different sizes, different heights, whatever it is. Okay. So, like I said, the pros to these outdoor planters is that they're durable. They will make them to last, depending on your climate. But if you're in the Toronto area, they build them to last a few years. Okay. They will last you, so you could plant things in there, including perennials, and not have anything to worry about in terms of the condition of your outdoor planter. You could get them in artistic styles, different colors, or one color, and so you can really increase the aesthetics of your garden by getting these planters. Some of them also have like a special water storage box where at the bottom when the water comes down it pools down there, so it separates the moistness from the soil so you don't get root rot. Okay, so there are advantages to having some of these planters. Okay, one of the main disadvantages of these planters is that they can be very expensive. If you've ever been to a garden store and you've seen these things, you know that compared to other similar planters, that they can be very expensive. So you're buying it really for style, you're buying it for color, you're buying it for aesthetics, and of course functionality too. But you'll have to weigh the costs for that. Okay, so that's just the one outdoor planter. The other one that I want to talk to you about is the gold standard, the clay pot. Okay, so these have been in existence since for thousands of years, basically. Ever since we could put clay into pots, people have been using it for all sorts of things. Okay, so obviously one of them is for planting. So this is mint. Okay, this is called grapefruit mint, and one of the reasons why I decided to put my mint in here is mint. They're spreaders. They'll go everywhere. They'll take over your garden if you plant them in there. So my two pieces of advice is don't put your mint into the garden. Put it into like a separate planter, unless your goal is to have nothing but mint in your garden anyway. But also putting it in a nice, decent sized pot. Now this is, like I said, this is clay, and one of the advantages of this clay is that it really holds the moisture. So if you put it in a plastic pot or a pot that doesn't absorb moisture, you can get root rot because it'll pool at the bottom, or it will evaporate in the heat. With the clay pots, once they're wet, they'll stay wet, and it's like and the roots can actually absorb it through the soil, through the clay. So these are really good for your planting, your individual planting. Now they come in various sizes, but they don't get too big. At least in my experience, the biggest one is like it's like this, which is good enough. But if you want to plant like potatoes or blueberries in there, I don't recommend it because they're just not big enough to support those kind of things. But small herbs, small producing veggies such as peas, you could put in here, that kind of thing. Okay, but these are good. I recommend them just because of how practical and functional they are, and they're also at a low enough cost that makes it affordable to buy multiple ones of those. The other one I want to talk about is this. These are called row planters. Let me just hold it up here so you can see. So you could tell The difference in this one is it's rectangular. Really what these do is they look nice when they're on a balcony, okay? And the point of this video really is for you people who don't have as much, who can't do a garden and only have like a small condo balcony and all these things, how can you maximize your space for these things? And this is just one example. Because you could put, I don't know if I can show you here. Actually, yeah, I can. You could have 2 rows. Now, obviously, some of them haven't come through for me yet, but these are nasturtiums. These are nice flowers. They give off a nice smell. They keep away aphids and mosquitoes. But also, after they flower, you can actually cook them in a salad, so they're multi-purpose, okay? But you could put them in rows. You could put different flowers in here. You can put a whole bunch of things in here, and they could be very successful, okay? These are mostly like a hard plastic. They're not too expensive, and they're generally last well. Now, like I said, they come in different sizes, but usually the depth is pretty standard. So that limits you, excuse me, I'm just going to put that away. That limits you in terms of what things that you could plant in there. Those kinds of things are great for flowers, small herbs like sage, basil, cilantro, parsley, that kind of thing, okay? If you want to put in, I don't recommend it for any hardy, root-driven veggies like squash, tomato, pepper, any of those things, okay? Certain small planters like this, though, these could hold peppers. These could hold a tomato, okay? But the smaller ones, the clay and the rectangular box, I don't recommend those. Those are for other things that you guys could come up with that don't require a lot of rooting, okay? Second, last thing I want to talk to you guys about. It's a bucket. That's all it is, it's a bucket. It's a food grade bucket. So you can tell it's a food grade by the number 2 inside the recycling symbol here, okay? And the cool thing about these buckets is that they're very cheap. I got this in Uxbridge from a farmer. He was selling them for like a couple bucks each, so I grabbed them. And these are 5-gallon buckets. So these are standard 5-gallon, and they're food grade. So not every bucket is food grade. You're gonna have to check the symbol, like I said. Check the symbols at the bottom, 2 in the recycling thing. That indicates it's a food grade. Okay, it's a food grade style bucket, and it allows you to put soil, plants, and food in here without it causing harm, without leaching toxins into it. So for all those people who are like, oh my goodness, you're gonna put that in plastic in the sun? No, it's fine. Okay, it's almost the same kind of plastic that you have with the other planters. Okay, now the size of these are great for potatoes. Absolutely amazing for potatoes and any deep rooting type of vegetable because of the sheer size. And there's a lot of videos out there on how to grow potatoes in buckets. You put the soil like up to here. The soil is up to here. You put your potatoes in there, fill it up to about here, let the leaving through, then put the more soil up to here, let it grow more potatoes here, then mulch on top. I'm sort of grossly over explaining that, but those buckets are great for that kind of thing. The one drawback is it's not very aesthetically pleasing. I mean, it looks like a bucket. So if style and look is important to you, those things I don't recommend because they look ugly. It's sure you could decorate them, but they no matter how well you decorate it, it still looks like a bucket. Okay, so they're great for functionality, absolutely amazing for that. Okay, I highly recommend them, especially when you're growing potatoes. You could also grow blueberries in there, and like I said, like I've said in other videos, blueberries are perennials. They'll last 15, 20, 25 years. You can keep a blueberry in that bucket for all that time, so long as you properly fertilize it year after year. But you can keep them in there. They will grow. They will be successful. Same with your other like tomatoes, peppers, watermelon, pumpkin, zucchini. All those things will grow in a bucket without any issue. Okay, but yeah, that is that. But I'm now going to talk to you about my favorite kind of outdoor planter. And that is this, okay? It's 5 gallons and it's a nylon bag. Literally, that's what this is. It's not quite the same bags that you get at No Frills or Sobeys or Metro or anything like that. It's similar, but the cloth is a little bit different. And what this is, so it lacks depth, okay, but it has a good circumference to get that 5 gallons you want. But the best part about this, the best part, and what I haven't said in compared to all these other planters, is that because of the material, it let oxygen come in here. No other planter does that. And what that means is that roots love oxygen. The more oxygen you can get to your roots, the more successful your plant will be, whatever plant it is. All right? More oxygen here means better root development, better root growth, and it will translate to better harvests and better blooms and whatever it is that you're planting. Okay? So, things in that grow bag, I don't recommend potatoes because of the sizing. You really want something really tall for that. But other things like, again, peppers, tomatoes, squash, corn. You can grow corn in there. Any other kind of veggie, any other kind of flower can exist in these grow bags. Okay? So, and in terms of price, they're not too expensive. I mean, don't compare it to the grocery store bags where you get it for $1. These are $5 per bag. Okay, so I mean, for me, it's worth it. I'm going to be using them this year, so I can show you. I'm trying one potato just to see if it works. I know I'm making the claim that I don't recommend it, but I'm seeing if it will work. But what I'm putting in here, I'm putting in pumpkins in here, and letting that go and see how that works. And I'm planning a few other things in this in these bags, and I'll update you in the future. But that's a short little video on the different planters that you could use. One of the other things that I recommend, though, when you're using any of these things, especially with the bucket and the bag, if you're doing anything with vining or trellising, put a cage on top. Let it go up like this. You can get them at Home Depot. I'll explain in another video how to make them. But I recommend getting some sort of cage on top so they can have something to climb onto and travel upwards. But if you're looking for ways to garden in a small little area, I recommend these kind of planters. And the best part is that, especially if you're in a balcony, in a condo in Toronto or somewhere, and the sun keeps moving, you can move your bags to take advantage of the sun. You can move your planters, whereas with a garden, you're stuck with where you are. Okay, so hope you guys like this video. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again. All right, take care. Bye.